Imagine being offered a house in San Francisco in the year 1980 for $120,000. Back then, people said it was too expensive, but today, that same home is worth over $1.5 million. That's the trap that people are falling into with Bitcoin right now. They think they've missed it, that it's too late, the ship has sailed, but in reality, we're still in the early chapters. It's not just San Francisco. A New York brownstone in the 1980s could be had for under $100,000. But today, you can barely get a studio apartment in Manhattan for that. In Austin, Texas, the median home price in the 1990s was under $100,000. Now, it's pushing $500,000. Everywhere you look, people once said, too expensive. The real cost wasn't buying, the real cost was waiting. And Bitcoin is exactly in that same position. Whether you're crypto curious, skeptical, or already stacking sats, this video is going to give you the roadmap and the confidence to see why Bitcoin today could be one of the smartest moves you'll ever make. And before we dive in, if you're someone who wants clear, no hype Bitcoin content, go ahead and subscribe right now. That way, you won't just watch from the sidelines. You'll have the tools to actually take action. Let's start with what makes Bitcoin unique. Bitcoin has a hard cap of 21 million coins. That's it. No more can ever be created. Scarcity is the foundation of value. Gold, real estate, rare art, all valuable because they are scarce. But Bitcoin takes scarcity to a level the world has never seen before. Then there's decentralization. Bitcoin isn't controlled by any government or company. It runs on a global network of thousands of nodes. That means it's censorship resistant, borderless, and open to anyone with an internet connection. And it's permissionless. You don't need a bank's approval. You don't need to ask anyone to send or receive Bitcoin. It's financial freedom in code. Think about how music changed. We went from vinyl to CDs to MP3s and now streaming. Now, music is digital, instant, and global. Imagine if music had a fixed supply of 21 million tracks. How valuable would one track be if demand kept growing? That is Bitcoin. And here's the kicker. Most altcoins can't claim this. They can be inflated, changed, or manipulated by small developer groups. Bitcoin's rules are carved in stone. That's why it's the foundation. The digital gold. Now, zooming out to the bigger picture, the global economy. Governments are drowning in debt. In the US, the national debt has blown past $34 trillion, and it's not slowing down. Every year, trillions are printed to keep the system afloat. This means that your dollars are worth less and less. $100 in the year 2000 buys you just $59 worth of goods today. Inflation eats away at your savings silently. Look around the world. In Argentina, inflation is over 200%. In Turkey, it's above 50%. In places like Nigeria, people turn to Bitcoin not as an investment, but as survival. It's the only money that can't be debased by a government. Gold used to be the hedge, but gold is heavy, hard to move, and governments can confiscate it. Bitcoin is much better. It's digital, it's portable, it's divisible, and with a guaranteed supply cap. And let's bring back that real estate analogy. In 1980, the average San Francisco home was around $120,000. People said, too expensive. Today, it's over $1.5 million. New York, Austin, Miami, all the same story. People thought they were smart by waiting, but the market never gave them that dip that they were hoping for. And that's where Bitcoin is right now. At $60,000 or $100,000, people say too expensive. But if history is any guide, the real cost is waiting. And just like housing, you'll look back and say, I could have bought it then, but I didn't. If this is already opening your eyes, hit that like button so more people can break free from the I'll wait for the dip trap, and subscribe if you want more Bitcoin content that cuts through the noise. Time in the market versus time in the market. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking that they can outsmart the market. I'll wait until Bitcoin crashes, then I'll buy. Sounds clever, but here's the truth. The people who waited for $3,000 in 2020 never bought. The people who waited for $10,000 in 2021 never bought. The people waiting for $20,000 in 2022 missed out as well. Here's what actually works. Time in the market. A strategy called dollar cost averaging. You buy a fixed amount regularly, whether it's weekly, monthly, no matter the price. And here's why. Anyone who has held Bitcoin for 4 years or more has historically been in profit. That's every single cycle. Volatility in the short term, but undeniable growth in the long term. I've met people who have been waiting since Bitcoin was $5,000. They're still waiting. That's the danger of trying to time it perfectly. You end up on the sidelines while the price keeps moving higher. Institutional adoption. Now, let's look at who's actually buying. In the last 2 years, we've seen the rise of Bitcoin ETFs. BlackRock, the biggest asset manager in the world, now has billions invested in Bitcoin on behalf of its clients. Fidelity, Vanguard, and others are offering similar products. Wall Street isn't ignoring Bitcoin anymore, they are embracing it. Then there's MicroStrategy. Michael Saylor transformed his software company into a Bitcoin powerhouse, buying over 580,000 BTC. That's billions of dollars worth. Tesla, Square, and other corporations have followed suit. Even governments are stepping in. El Salvador made Bitcoin legal tender. Other countries are exploring central bank reserves in Bitcoin. Here's what this means. Ordinary people are now competing with billion-dollar institutions and even nations for the same limited supply. And remember, only 21 million coins will ever exist. This is no longer a game of nerds online. This is the global financial system pivoting slowly but surely toward Bitcoin. Quick pause. If you're starting to realize that Bitcoin isn't just a fad, but the next financial foundation, then share this video with a friend who still thinks crypto is a scam. You might be planting the seed that changes their financial future. Network effects and global adoption curve. Bitcoin's value also grows with adoption. This is called the network effect. Think back to the internet in 1995. Only about 14% of households had access. It was slow, clunky, and niche. People didn't get it. But as more people came online, the value of the network exploded. Bitcoin is in that same phase right now, around 5% global adoption. Millions of active wallets, billions transferred daily, and the Lightning Network enabling instant, cheap payments. In Nigeria, families are using Bitcoin to receive remittances without losing 10% to middlemen. The more people that use it, the more useful it becomes. And the more useful it becomes, the more people adopt it. That's a feedback loop, and it's only just getting started. Risks of waiting. So what happens if you keep waiting? Every 4 years, Bitcoin goes through something called the halving. That's when the amount of new Bitcoin mined is cut in half. In 2012, the halving pushed Bitcoin to around $1,000. In 2016, it climbed up to $20,000. And in 2020, it hit $69,000. The next halving is in 2028. With each one, supply shrinks while demand keeps growing. On top of that, long-term holders and institutions are removing Bitcoin from exchanges, putting it into cold storage. That means that less and less Bitcoin is available to buy. Psychology makes it worse. When Bitcoin doubles, most people freeze. At 100K, they'll say it's too high. At 200K, it's too late. Then at 500K, they're out forever. It's the same as real estate. Once prices doubled, people lock themselves out mentally, and the longer you wait, the harder it gets to ever step in. Practical steps to start buying. Let's talk about how you actually start. Step 1, choose a safe exchange. Coinbase, Kraken, and Gemini are trusted names for beginners. Step 2, set up a wallet. A hot wallet is connected to the internet, useful for small amounts and quick access. A cold wallet, like a ledger or Trezor device, is offline and best for serious holdings. Step 3, lock down security. Use two-factor authentication. Never share your seed phrase. And remember, if someone offers to hold your Bitcoin for you, it is a scam. Step 4, start small. You don't need to buy a whole Bitcoin. You can buy fractions, even $10 at a time. That's why dollar cost averaging works so well. Here's the point. It's not about timing the perfect entry. It's about building the habit and securing your position before the rest of the world fills in. It's about building the habit and securing your position before the rest of the world piles in. Long-term vision and exit strategies. So what's the bigger picture? Bitcoin is becoming the monetary base layer of the digital age. Models like stock to flow and adoption curves suggest incredible upside as adoption continues. But it's not just about price, it's about generational wealth. Holding Bitcoin could be the equivalent of holding prime real estate in New York or San Francisco decades ago. And exit strategies matter. You don't need to go all in or all out. Some investors sell small portions during bull runs while keeping the majority long term. Others treat Bitcoin as a savings account for their kids and their grandkids. The point is, patience and conviction are the wealth builders. The number one regret of early Bitcoiners isn't buying, it's selling too soon. Alright, let's bring this full circle. Bitcoin is scarce, it's decentralized, it's becoming the backbone of a new financial system while the old one inflates itself into oblivion. Institutions are buying it. Countries are adopting it. Everyday people are using it to escape broken currencies. And here's the truth. The window of opportunity is shrinking. Every year, more Bitcoin is locked away forever. Every cycle, the price resets higher. And every time, the people who waited are the ones left behind. But you're here, you're learning. You're ahead of most people in the world who still think Bitcoin is a joke. That is your advantage. Knowledge before the crowd catches up. This channel exists to make sure you never get left behind, to give you the tools, the context, and the confidence to not just understand Bitcoin, to actually build wealth with it. So don't stop here. If you're ready to take the next step, I've got a whole library of videos breaking down how to buy safely, how to store securely, and how to avoid the scams that wipe people out. Check out the videos linked on the screen right now. They'll take you deeper and give you the exact playbook to start building your Bitcoin position today. Because this is the bottom line. Every generation has a once-in-a-lifetime chance to buy into the future before everyone else. For our parents, it was real estate. And for us, it is Bitcoin. And when your kids ask you in 10 or 20 years, what did you do when Bitcoin was just starting to go mainstream? I want your answer to be, I learned, I acted, and it changed everything. So subscribe if you haven't already, join this community, and keep watching because your Bitcoin journey doesn't end here. It is just the beginning.